I've upgraded you. This is a piece of styrofoam insulation that you can get at the lumber yard. This happens to be a 20-inch square piece. Sometimes you can get small pieces. Certainly don't cut it any smaller than 15 inches. This 20 gives you lots of room for your bobbins to spread out. Just like lesson number 1, you only use 4 bobbins at a time, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is only 2 moves. If you'll remember, cloth stitch was 3 because you did your first move, your second move, and your third moves. Well, this time we're only going to do 2. It's 2 over 3, and you pick up the 2 and 4 just like we did with the cloth stitch and go that way. If you look closely at this stitch, you'll see you've got 2 X's, one on each side, and an X in the middle. You do not have that completed step where the threads are completely interwoven. You have an open stitch. We're going to leave it that way. That is the half stitch. You pull these 2 out to the side, pick up your next 2, making sure they're still rainbow style. 2 over 3, 2 over 1, and 4 over 3. Push that across. Again, half stitch. That's how I think of it when I'm doing this. I'm kind of counting moves. I'm doing half stitch, or 1, 2. Notice only one thread is being pulled across, and we're actually splitting our pairs. Half stitch, half stitch, half stitch, all the way to the end. Again, you pin under the pair. You pick up the left-hand pair, and you pin under both threads. Now we're going to go back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 over 3, 2 and 4, go over a bobbin. That's a half stitch. 2 over 3, 2 and 4. 2 over 3, 2 and 4, 2 over 3, or half stitch, half stitch, half stitch, half stitch, half stitch. Pin each time by lifting the left-hand pair and tensioning. Go across again. Both of these first 2 stitches weave completely across the pattern. They're known as a filling stitch. And pin. Tensioning is a little more difficult to achieve because of the twists on the threads. You can see how much different this looks. There are little X's in between the rows. Every time you reach the end of a row, you turn around and half stitch back across again to the other side. Don't pull so much as you just kind of pat things into place. You'll have some sagging again just from the thickness of the thread. And do as much or as little of this as you want. If you want to go all the way to the end, you may have enough thread. It will pucker a little bit. Or you can always unlace, go backwards, and start it all over again. When you've reached a sufficient length, you're going to end off just as we did before. Notice, however, that all of your pairs have a twist on them. Leave that twist in place. If you untwist, your weaver thread can come out. So you want to make sure you have a twist, or you can put an extra twist on if you want to be very secure before you tie your knot. To end off, we're going to take 4 threads at a time and make sure you've got, oh, what is that? Probably 6, 7 inches of thread. Cut the thread off. We're going to do an overhand knot. That just means make a loop and bring the threads through. It makes a little bit of a tassel. And you're going to do that, and you can pull each thread slightly. We're going to do that all the way across. You may or may not want to go all the way to the end of this with that big thread sagging that way, but go as far as you like. Scoot them out of your way as you go. Remember how to loosen the thread. Pull the loop that's diagonally across. Pull it off completely if you need to. And then you can gently, holding down on the lace so that you don't pull it out of shape. End of lesson 2.